So we'll be busy. We've got a lot of things on the schedule. We're looking to get going right away on at 9:01 Eastern from the West Coast, where I'll be attending a wedding. But I will be back and at it on July 1, hopefully meeting with some of the key free agents.
We understand that you can't talk about guys under contracts to other teams yet. Looking at this free agent group, this would seem to be a guy and then a bunch of other guys. Are you one to prioritize or to go after a whole bunch of guys?
Well, again, I can't mention names, and there are some big time, big name free agents that are looking to, kind of either stay with their respective clubs or look for a new opportunity. Some could be part of bigger packages that are being assembled, similar to what's happened in the past. But this is an interesting year because there's a few pieces that make a lot of sense for us, and we will certainly prioritize those pieces. And as we again look to formulate, this summer was all about having the flexibility to create different things, whether it was again free agent opportunities or trade opportunities, and you can't predict what's going to happen because you can't have these conversations in advance. So you'll know more about those things as they happen. But what I've seen with this team, as I've talked about over the last couple of years, this is a process of growing. It doesn't happen overnight, and I think we've made very good strides in the first 2 years of this process. This third year, we'd like to accelerate that and possibly compete for the playoffs. There's no assurance of that, but depending on some of the things that we do here in the next few days, few weeks, it will help obviously determine whether or not that's a realistic goal. But I would say that had we had a healthy roster last year, we were already showing signs that we were capable of competing at that level. When your defensive numbers are the worst in the league and they go to the top third, that's a good step in the right direction. When your young players, ranging from 22 to 25 years old, are emerging and developing and doing very well and putting time in the gym and working and showing the level of commitment that our guys are. These are all positive steps. I said, the other day, you look to try to build as many positive things in this process as possible, and each and every one of those things is a building block of sorts. I think Coach says, we got to pound the rock every day. Well, that's what we're doing basically with the composition or the building of this roster. And, we're going to, continue to make the right strategic decisions. I think it started, last year with the hiring of Dwayne. It moved forward quite rapidly within a few days with the selection of Jonas Valanciunas. We're excited about the talent infusion just coming from the draft itself, not only last night, but last year. And so we've got some more significant young, talented pieces coming in. These next few days, though, or few weeks, will determine whether or not there's a trade opportunity or a free agent opportunity to help that acceleration process occur.
Did last night change or even help what you might want to hopefully do in the next days or weeks?
It didn't change a whole lot. Again, we were looking to address some wing concerns that we have. Obviously, we continue to talk about the three position. There's uncertainty there. Last year, the uncertainty came from having a young, developing James Johnson kind of emerging as the guy that got the majority of the minutes. Part of that maybe was because Lennis Kaliza was hurt, coming back from an injury, fairly significant injury. I think what we've seen out of both of those young men is that Lennis has recovered very well. We saw him play this last Saturday against Great Britain. He was playing with Lithuania. He looked like he was moving very well. He was shooting the ball very well. He looks confident and ready to take on this Olympic qualifier down in Venezuela. That's a good sign for us. We talk about our shooting needs. He's definitely a shooter and will get his fair share of opportunities to put the ball up from that three spot. His versatility allows him to play some small four, and you've seen a penchant for doing that on occasion. James Johnson has been able to play both positions as well, the 4 or the 3. And again, when you're putting some defensive schemes in place and putting a competitive team out there, I think our coaches have shown some creativity with regard to that. And it's maybe even one more reason why you might see a Terrence Ross and a DeMar DeRozan play together, early. You never know when you're going to see that, but we think they do complement each other out there on the floor. And again, taking coach's lead there, not pigeonholing, a player into a position, not saying you're a 1, you're a 2, you're a 3. I like versatility. I've always said that, and I think that as long as you apply that versatility within the team system, and I think it can work very well. So these next days are important, and we're going to be addressing some of the things we continue to see as areas of weakness. One way or the other, Jared Bayless is a restricted free agent. I will be, within moments, issuing a qualifying offer to both he and Sonny Weems. Those are going out today, the deadline. It was helpful to kind of see some of the results of last night and know some of the pieces that we have now. But I would say that right now, under our current makeup, the backup point guard spot is definitely something we will be focusing on. And as we say, across the board, 1 to 5, we'll be looking to improve however we can. If we can get better at a certain area and that means someone else is on the move or someone slides over, that's the intent. We want to raise the stakes.
I get. You mentioned 1 through 5, improving wherever you can. So you've mentioned veteran experience. Dwayne's mentioned adding that. Does it matter on the floor where you add that, or are you just looking to upgrade the talent, period?
I think it's safe to say you look to upgrade the talent, period, and that one spot that we talk about primarily is the 3 more than anything. But if you look at the 5, we kind of feel like we've got, again, combinations of players that adequately cover that or have done a good job, a solid job of doing that. Jonas is coming in to address that need again going forward. We're not ready to anoint him the starter or the savior of this team, but what we are saying is that he's NBA ready with regard to his athleticism and his size and his energy levels. We need to make sure that he's getting bigger and stronger. He's just about 250. We weighed and measured him this weekend, and I think he had a very good body fat content before he had 2 pieces of cheesecake at 2 respective dinners we had with him. But he's getting Americanized very quickly, if you will. He was very comfortable down in Houston, eating steak and eating cheesecake. But we're happy to have him, and again, it addresses maybe one position, depth at that position, because again, whether Andrea is playing the 5 or the 4, Amir Johnson playing the 5 or the 4. We do have a free agent in Aaron Gray, who we need to probably and Jamal McGlure. We need to talk about where we get one more 5 in the process. Hopefully, someone with some experience. One thing also just to mention: Solomon Alabi will become a free agent. We will not exercise the option year. The deadline was also today, and we've been in communication with his agent to let him know that that's the case. It's likely that Solomon is going to play Summer League basketball with us and maintain the connection and the relationship to determine whether or not there's a spot for him here. But just that little nuance does free up a little bit of flexibility with regard to our cap flexibility.
There's a lot of speculation about Jose's future. What have you said to him? And I mean, he's been through the uncertain situation before. I mean, how's he?
I think Jose's a professional. He knows this is it's part of the business. I've talked to his agent. I explained to him some of the things that were being speculated on, and we discussed it. And that's my means of communicating, rather than let something just hang there and be an unknown. I like to be more. I like to converse and discuss those situations and make sure people are prepared for whatever might happen, whether it's a trade, whether it's the possibility of an amnesty in this case. Again, Jose is a very good basketball player and a very important part of this team, and he's become a leader on this team. But like I said, if we feel there's a piece that will make us better or improve our basketball team, and we've got the flexibility and the commitment to commit those resources accordingly, then I think, you know, we should always pursue that. And I think Jose understands that. And again, Jose is a pro. He's a grown man, and he understands that it is a business. If he comes back, we're going to be happy to have him. And Coach loves Jose Calderon. But again, as we construct a roster, you do your best to put the best possible team on the floor with a vision and with a plan, and that's what we're doing right now.
You've mentioned flexibility for a year or so now, and it's maybe not your favorite way to operate, and sort of not sitting on your hands, but you know, on the eve of not doing that anymore and really making moves, how does it feel?
Well, again, on the eve of not doing that anymore, let me caution.
Not that you're going to spend crazily, but
I'm not,
on the eve of having opportunities to make some moves.
It's not going to be Christmas Day tomorrow, like you know, or Sunday. We're not going to go out and you know, spend errantly and you know, go crazy like the beginning of the second round last night. Can't believe I was offered $1,750,000 for the 37th pick. But that's the name of the game. It's important to note that the flexibility is the key to operating a business. I think you've got, especially in this business, you've got to have an ability to add pieces when those pieces are available. You've got to have the ability to sign players when those pieces make sense. This is not necessarily a 12:01 Eastern Time. We're going to have two pieces in place and everything's done, and we're going to wrap this thing up and see everybody at training camp in October. This could take some time. The money might not be spent right away because we might not feel the right pieces there to act immediately. And the important thing I have to stress is that whether it's going into the season with this flexibility, you know, even just this last 2 months, to have the space opened up so many conversations for possible trades and possible scenarios, but we never felt like the deals that were presented or that were discussed were the right deals to make, even as it related to moving the draft pick last night. We had a chance to move the pick and move out of the draft. Didn't feel that was appropriate. We wanted to add another piece. And again, we did that with the 8th selection in Terrence. If we had been presented a situation where we had a chance to stay in the draft by moving back a few spots, maybe that would have made some more sense, but we didn't have that opportunity. So we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep beating the bushes. We're going to keep talking to teams. You know, things change from draft night to middle of the summer to the start of training camp. And normally by November or mid-December, you know that half the coaches in the league want to get rid of somebody. And, you know, only teams that have space can take those players with that flexibility and not take back not expect to take back other contracts. So the bottom line is we're going to try to make the best strategic decisions, and whether it happens immediately or it takes some time, it does feel good to have the flexibility, which is what, you know, was the original point of the question.
Thanks.
Okay, guys? Cool. Thanks.